Hey man, I don't think this book is gonna be very good. Why not? Well, just look at the cover. It's so... I don't like it. That's not how you're supposed to judge books. Well, what else am I supposed to do? Oh! I finally watched Search for SquarePants, and it was good. Like, better than I thought modern SpongeBob was capable of. I got a much better movie than I expected. I said it would just be modern SpongeBob garbage, but was actually pretty entertaining. See, I made a video on the SpongeBob movies a few weeks ago, and you guys did not like that one. I basically wrote off Search for SquarePants without even having seen it, because I think this franchise is just so past its expiration date. And to be fair, I still think that. I do think the reception was a tad of an overreaction, but I understand where I went wrong. I got some facts wrong about Hillenberg's takes on spin-offs, and overall, I didn't give Search for SquarePants a fair shot. I misjudged it. It is funny. It has significantly better energy, directing, joke writing, and just overall care put into it than any of the 3 previous movies. If we're counting the Netflix spin-offs as movies, that is. I think it's much closer to its 82% on Rotten Tomatoes than its 2.5 out of 5 stars in Letterboxd. I think it really does have value as a good addition to the SpongeBob legacy. So why is Search for SquarePants actually funny, while, in my opinion, the Netflix movies are bores to sit through? Well, they actually understand how to implement absurdist comedy. So much modern SpongeBob, talking about the show specifically, is so determined to throw as much stimulation and weird facial expressions at you as possible that they don't actually bother writing real characters or jokes. Basically, SpongeBob and Patrick will just kind of do something and then laugh, and that's the joke. Here, watch a clip, for example. And I was afraid that the movie would just kind of reflect that style of writing, because that's sort of what I got with the Sandy movie, something that was pandering to an audience that has at this point moved on from this type of product. However, Search for SquarePants actually understands that comedy is cause and effect. It needs a setup and a punchline. SpongeBob is excited to go on the roller coaster, then he looks up and sees an absurdly dangerous ride. SpongeBob hears the echoing of Mr. Krabs' voice in his head, and then he moves and we see it's just him repeating himself. My favorite joke in the movie: the sun is setting, and if the sun sets, the curse is going to become permanent. The sun sets, the Dutchman wins, and then it goes back up and the horn breaks. These jokes are not just stimulation for the sake of it. There's an actual understanding of what makes SpongeBob funny. They even do some classic staples like sudden cuts to realistic still images with no music. Those are some of the best SpongeBob jokes that the show has to offer. In this movie, the Flying Dutchman recruits SpongeBob into his team to trick him into trading places with his curse, so that the Dutchman's curse lands on SpongeBob instead of him. Patrick and him are unaware, and thus Mr. Krabs and Squidward set off into the underworld to retrieve the two before the Dutchman curses them. The story of the Flying Dutchman tricking SpongeBob and Patrick onto his crew is really reminiscent of the episode Shanghaied, where, in the show at least, they meet for the first time. And the concept there is Dutchman thinks he's going to torture SpongeBob and Patrick, but they torture him instead with annoyance. That really is one of my favorite SpongeBob episodes, because it's just so conceptually genius and well executed. Here, Patrick alone is more so the annoyance, while SpongeBob and Dutchman actually get along pretty well. Now, I think this would have been better if they gave Patrick and Dutchman some more dialogue, some more banter against each other. Patrick mostly just interacts with SpongeBob, and every once in a while he talks to Barb. But I think this comedic dynamic would have been even better if, like, Patrick was getting into fights with the Dutchman, and the Dutchman had to force himself to get along with Patrick for the sake of SpongeBob. Kinda like the dynamic between SpongeBob, Patrick, and Man Ray. You remember that episode where they're trying to make him good, and Man Ray has to deal with Patrick's antics in what I think is the single funniest scene in all of SpongeBob's history. However, the movie is at its best near the end, when it leads back into absurdity when they go out of water and takes advantage of its bigger budget. Now, especially if you were to compare it to the show from 20 years ago, it is still very stimulating, almost to an overly degree, sometimes to a brain-rotted degree that reminds me, yeah, our kids probably are kind of cooked. Although I will say, when I went to the theater with my friend, we were definitely the youngest people there. It was us, some 30-year-old woman in the front, and then this 40-year-old guy behind us that was belly laughing at every Patrick line. Every time Patrick was like, oh, I fell down, he was laughing super loudly. It was probably the funniest part of the movie. I also think Search for SquarePants actually understands how to implement celebrity actors correctly. Mark Hamill sounds like the Flying Dutchman. I think he puts on a great performance. And I understand some SpongeBob fans are really strict about only the original voice actors voicing the characters. Why would you replace Brian Doyle Murray? He's still alive. He could still voice act. And I'm like, it's acting. It's a performance. It's part of the art. Seeing other people put on this performance, yeah, I obviously understand putting a big name actor attracts money, but I can actually appreciate when a celebrity voice actor does it to a high quality. Also, the Ice Spice Fish is so funny. I was afraid they would overstep her role, but she is so well directed for the one scene she gets. Basically acting as a Squidward type character that's annoyed as SpongeBob. That is so in universe. You ever see these memes where it's like, I put my OC in the loud house. Can you notice? And they stick out like a sore thumb. I was afraid that it was going to be like that, but no, it was pretty seamless in my opinion. And they finally got rid of songs. Oh my god, I couldn't believe how many people were defending the Plankton movie in my last video. I am so tired of these movies trying to be musicals. I'm so tired of these movies giving Plankton and Sandy musical numbers. The 2004 movie was such an outlier in being able to have these fun songs. It's okay. You don't have to be the 2004 movie. You can be your own movie. And thankfully, we did not get a Flying Dutchman song, nor a Mr. Krabs song. No, thank you. I breathed a huge sigh of relief when I found out this was not a musical. Now, if I'm nitpicking, I do think the artistic style and model textures in Sponge on the Run were a little better. I think they really went all in on this fuzzy, felty look, and I really liked that, like almost like a Yoshi's Woolly World. I find that a little more creative than this straight up 3D animated look. However, this is more than 10 times made up by the fact that Search for SquarePants is not an advertisement for something else. It is not a blatant attempt to point to a different SpongeBob product, in SpongeBob on the Run's case, the Camp Coral spin-off show. It is its own entity, and that automatically makes it way better than Sponge on the Run. So overall, it was good. Now, was it shallow? Sure, I guess. It didn't make me cry, I guess, like the 2004 movie probably did when I was a kid. Nobody dies or anything, and it was very obviously pandering to a younger audience than me. But it was funny. It was SpongeBob. And the last time I could say that in movie form was like 11 years ago. I genuinely think the 2.5 out of 5-star rating on Letterboxd is so pretentious. Like, oh, you simpleton, this motion picture did not have the necessary depth of a truly exquisite film. Like, shut up. It's SpongeBob. Give me a break. Like, I can't imagine anyone giving this like a 1-star review. Give me a break. I really do got to get off Letterboxd, man. Every once in a while, you'll see the most fun movie ever get like 3 stars, and something really pretentious and boring get like 4.5. It's such selection bias. But yeah, I was wrong. It happens. You know, I'm just a college student making videos. You know, it happens. My fault. But I appreciate everyone watching. Thank you so much. Like and subscribe, and bye.